So, ladies and gentlemen, here we are again, Split Peak Soup podcast. This is number 3, and I am here with a very special guest, Shane Rafferty. Shane, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Yeah, I'm super pumped. Just wanted to get it out of the way. This podcast is brought to you by Santa Cruz Vibes Magazine. Go to www.scvibesmagazine.com for all the latest articles about awesome stuff. We drop the magazine 4 times a year. So with that all said and done, Shane, thanks for coming. I just wanted to start off by saying you're a legend.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, I've known you for quite a long time. Probably, I don't know, when I first met you, maybe when I was a Grom, like 10 or 11 years old. And at that time, you were playing in a pretty influential punk rock band named Lost Cause. And just since then, I've just known you as a super humble, cool, hilarious individual. And you've always been a really cool, positive role model for me growing up. So just wanted to thank you there. And you're also a supremely talented musician. And today is a pretty big day. You just released an album like last night.
Yeah, the Wagon Wreckers new album just hit Spotify, Apple Music, and all the major streaming platforms last night. So yeah, super pumped on that. First and foremost, I just want to thank you for the kind words. You've always been a huge influence of mine as well, even though I'm a regular surfer, but you're just all around good dude. You rip at surfing, and love that you're doing this now and your magazines and your writing. So kudos to you too, brother.
Sick, yeah. Well, it's always a good thing. Mutual respect goes a long way, I think. Yes. Um, so let's just start. You're in a number of different bands, different styles of music, but let's just start out with Wagon Wreckers. Let's talk about the influence for that band, your bandmates, and how that all started.
Yeah, that's so. To back it up, I would say, not totally sure on my timelines. I suck at those, but I want to say about 20 years ago, I was at a bonfire for Matt Santella, our lead singer slash guitar player. It was his bachelor party in Mendocino, and he just picked up acoustic guitar and started jamming like all these Nirvana acoustic songs and like Hank 3, Johnny Cash, and I was like, wow, you should have a band, something like that. And then I want to say that maybe like a few months after that, he had been jamming with our good friend Tyler Schwami, rest in peace. He passed away a while back. We miss him dearly, of course. But yeah, we ended up, they were already kind of established in jamming, just kind of, whatever they felt like, a lot of covers. And then they asked me to join, in and play drums. And then we kind of came up with the name Wagon Wreckers, and then it kind of just went from there. We used to play the Windjammer like all the time. We were like their house band. Rest in peace, Windjammer.
Yeah,
that place was awesome. But that's how it all started. And then kind of, fast forward to today, we took a long break, obviously, after Tyler had passed away. And then we decided to pick it up, about, I would say maybe 5 years ago. And then we acquired our good friend, Jimmy Herrick's brother, Pat.
yeah.
And and then we just started, we're one of those bands that just like hardly ever plays. We'd practice 3 times a year sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes 4, maybe play 1 or 2 shows. And then this album kind of just lit a fire, if you will. And then we just started playing, a lot more. And kind of, it just, I don't know, the album kind of, just getting back in the studio with Bart Thurber, the legend who's recorded so many Santa Cruz bands. It ignited everything for us again. And we're just found this passion and love for this music, once again. So
Sick.
yeah.
And has country music been something like, I know that there's different types of country. There's like the kind of pop country, which
Right.
can be sometimes, I guess, if you want to open your mind and appreciate music, but sometimes it just sounds kind of corny, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, in the words of Hank 3, pop country sucks.
Yeah,
So.
okay. Oh, good, yeah.
In my opinion. To each his own, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not really out for that sound. We're more like we call it outlaw country, it has more of an edge to it, I guess.
Right.
and our style kind of, we kind of incorporated almost like this rock, sometimes punkish edge to some of our songs.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're starting to write a lot more originals too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And speaking of originals and maybe like kind of a punk rock mentality, you're bringing that to your country act. One of the names of the song is "I Hope the Mushrooms Kick In."
Oh, shrooms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The shrooms are kicking in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got them from a friend of a friend.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. That's a pretty legendary kind of twist on one of those more mundane kind of country songs talking about maybe sitting on the back porch, but this time maybe it's a little bit of a different experience on the
Right.
back porch.
Yeah.
But who's involved with the lyric writing?
Yeah. So Matt Santella is a freaking genius. And talk about humble people too. Like the guy has no idea how good he is.
Yeah.
Don't tell him I said that. No. But he just will write. He lives in Corlitas. He's been there forever. And so he's like legit country guy, as we like to say. And he just writes acoustically on his guitar. And then he'll write all the lyrics to his originals, like Shrooms. And he'll just send us like an audio recording. And then we just kind of roll with it. And he just seems to hit on like everything. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we love playing covers and, and everything. But we are encouraging more and more of his original stuff.
Yeah.
For sure. And he also is like, the thing that I always appreciated before even getting into the band was that him and Swami created this sound that is like, it's like outlaw country blended with reggae, like sublime, which is just, I don't know, it's a genre that I haven't heard anywhere else. So that's something we kind of take pride in,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how important is originality in music for you? You've been a musician for a really long time, and just maybe expand on that for me. Finding your own sound and having it come from a genuine place from inside your own brain. I'm sure we're always influenced by what we listen to and absorb, but how important is originality in music to you?
It's super important to me. Yeah. And I like to say I'm kind of like really picky and sometimes maybe a control freak about sounds and keeping it the same. Meaning like if you find it's almost like sometimes with certain musicians, you just run into an original sound, or, everything's influenced from somebody else. But once we find it, I want to keep it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like with Lost Cause, for example, all of us are on the same page where we're like, we're a hardcore punk band. We're going to keep it that way. We're not going to veer off, we're not going to veer off the needle, any other direction.
Yeah.
And same with the Wagon Wreckers. There's times where we do kind of tend to come up with something that's a little slowed down, and I kind of encourage guys like, let's bump it up in speed, in tempo. Like that's our sound. That's our original thing. If we start going too slow, we're going to sound like every other, outlaw country cover band,
Right.
Whatever. So,
yeah.
So it's super important to me. Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the process of making the music, would you say that, country follows a pretty standard formula, and does that make your guys' job a little bit easier as far as playing and coming up with songs? Or I'm sure there's still a little bit of pressure to, find your sound, but it seems it's pretty formulaic.
Yeah.
Music, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. It's like, I don't play guitar a whole lot, but it always starts off when Matt's playing something like just basic chord progressions, your G chords and what have you. And it's what's more kind of, the basis of building the song is off of his lyrics. And then later it's just kind of like a generic template. And then we build the changes and dynamics off of that.
Yeah. And
that's kind of where I think my role as a drummer, cause I don't really drum that much, that often. But I'm starting to do it a lot more, which is fun. I really like that. And we're kicking off the Astro Zombies too with my brothers, Kevin and Dave and Matt Warren. But not to get too far off topic. It's kind of just starts simple and you just build off of it. And again, Matt's just so good at song idea, like Shrooms or Tears on My Penis or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of like build it together, and he just has, if it wasn't for him and his natural ability just effortlessly write songs stuff
Yeah.
in there, it would be much harder.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like a punk song, that's usually driven from like riffs and like power chords. Usually is that it's always interesting to me with music, like that whole chicken before the egg thing, like, you know, where does it drive from? I'm sure it's different from different bands, but you
For
know,
sure.
can you talk about that a
Yeah.
little bit and how that varies from
Yeah.
person to person?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, the way, especially pertaining to Lost Cause, the way we write is, there's sometimes we're just jamming and we're like, whoa, there's a riff. Let's keep that, and then let's work on a change. And then I'll write lyrics. And sometimes I'll just have lyrics and I'm like, hey, here's some lyrics. And then the guys will just start writing music to it.
Right.
We do it in like a mixture of ways, but really we've all done it kind of collectively. Like Gabe has written songs, Kalu has. Kevin, when he was with us, would write songs. It's kind of like a group effort.
Yeah.
Yeah. And more recently, even Zach Mitchell's been, the drummer Lost Cause, has been bringing me, some lyrics and was like, hey, let's do something with this. And I'm like, cool, let's do it,
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah. But normally it does start with a guitar riff, I'd say.
Okay. Yeah.
Kalu's really good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned your brother Kevin, and for the audience, Kevin Rafferty is Shane's younger brother, and then Dave is his youngest brother. And you come from a family of musicians. Was that something that was introduced to you from anyone else in your family? Like, did you grow up encouraged to pursue musical talents?
Yeah. Yeah. Great question. Yeah. That came from my dad, Dave Rafferty Sr.
Okay.
So he was always into blues and loved like Stevie Ray Vaughan and B.B. King and stuff like that. And he would sing, play harmonica. And so at a very young age, Kevin started playing guitar. He was probably 13. And then I think when I was 15, I started picking up drums. And we just started jamming with my dad. Things were way different back in the day. There was a couple bars. I won't mention any names, but we were like 16 years old. I think I was 16 at the oldest, and Kevin was like 14. And we were playing bars,
Yeah.
with my dad, just like jamming.
Oh, wow, cool.
So it kind of just started from there. And then our musical tastes kind of just branched out everywhere. Kevin and I started getting into Slayer, Melvins, Tool, just like everything,
Yeah.
everything except for pop country.
Yeah. That's okay. They can have it.
Yeah,
All
right.
good. Yeah, no worries. And so let's just talk about punk rock, because, I think the early 90s, late 80s, that's when even going before that with like Blast and stuff like that, but Santa Cruz really popped off with the punk rock. Why do you think Santa Cruz and punk rock were such a good fit for each other?
Yeah, it's like the perfect marriage. And I think about this often. And, it just, for one thing, Santa Cruz is such a fishbowl of talent, for surfers like you, for musicians, for artists like Jimbo Phillips. I mean, it's just, I think it's like this standard, this unspoken standard that you're just going to play, at that time in those eras, things were different. There was a lot of like localism, things were regulated. So there was anger, hostility, against valleys and what have you, or society, it was just this ultimate rebellion that was captured in this very small town. And I think, just bands like, like Mock and Blast, and they just kind of created, in my opinion, those are the bands that created the Santa Cruz punk rock sound.
Yeah.
That influenced us, certainly, and a lot of other bands.
Yeah.
And you could also hear like the SoCal influence too, bands like Agent Orange and things like that too. So
totally.
Adolescents, it's just super cool. And I think it's kind of just like surfers and punk rock together, especially in Santa Cruz, create this sound.
Yeah.
It's special.
Yeah, and how many like whatever mini ramp sessions with punk rock circle jerks playing in the background, or in the car before going for a surf, listening to any punk rock band. It's just it gets you psyched and pissed off. You want to fucking hit the lip.
Dude, you get the best barrels ever, dude. Just like you pull in and you just get spit right out of them. And you just drop in and just smack the lip. Whoop-ah!
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. It's full adrenaline rush. I used to have a half pipe playing, records like hanging right out. I had a record player sitting on like the windowsill in my house. And
Yeah.
when I lived in the studio at Seabright, and I was a Grom and had a half pipe, and we just turn on the records and just go to town,
Yeah.
Like I said, before surfing, cassette tapes, kind of dating myself. But yeah, those were the good old days.
Yeah.
But it's still like the same,
Right.
Fast forward, I'm almost 50 and I still love that stuff for, getting psyched to surf or playing music or whatever. Yeah.
Totally. And as I think, especially being a vocalist in a punk rock band, you really get up there and unleash some fucking aggression and just getting pissed. And how was that? Did you find that therapeutic, or maybe a way to channel any anger that might have been bubbling up, in your youth?
100%. Yeah. Yeah. So for me, I went through some shit in my childhood, like many people, but, in my shit, like a lot of people, it's real, but I feel like for me, I needed that. I needed the music as a release, as an outlet, along with surfing and everything else. But I needed to express myself in that way, in that pissed off way, because, I didn't like the shit that was happening.
Right.
And so I feel like it kept me out of a lot of trouble, kept me away from fighting as often, or whatever. Yeah. And it was definitely a huge outlet. I remember when I started writing all these lyrics, and I would think I was probably like 17 at the time. And, I was like going through some really dark times mentally and everything. And I was like, man, I really just want to sing in a punk band. And then all of a sudden I run into Zach Mitchell, our drummer, and we're at the Hook checking the waves, and he's got this cassette tape, and he goes, hey, dude, any singers? Like, we got this demo, we're looking for a singer for our punk band. And I ran home, took that tape. Again, I said, I'm your guy. Went home, listened to it. All the lyrics I had pretty much fit the 4-song demo. I had full lyrics and everything like dialed by the next day, and then called them up, and I was like, I'm ready to go try out, and it was like, that was a huge turning point for me. And I just knew I had this vision and this sound in my head that I wanted to follow, and what those guys did was exactly in line with what I wanted to do. So like the rest is kind of history.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it's therapy. It was therapy then, and it's therapy today.
Yeah. And you guys, Lost Cause is still going strong.
Yeah.
There might be some geographical separation. Gabe's up in Oregon, right?
Yep.
But for the most part, you guys are just all here in Santa Cruz, right?
Yeah.
Besides that?
Yeah. Yeah, we're all located on the east side, with the exception of Gabe is in Oregon, like you said. But his mom, still lives on 38th Avenue. And, he always has reason to come here for family and friends and everything. And anytime we get a show or whatever, huge kudos to Gabe. He'll get on a plane, fly out here, and practice, and so we're always prepared. And then Kalu, Zach, and myself have been practicing a little bit here and there too, to try to work on some new stuff. And then we record it, send it over to Gabe. He does some practice, and then, yeah. So we're excited about all the new stuff that we have, and we're pulling some old songs that we haven't played in forever, kind of out of the woodworks too. So they're almost like new songs again. So we should have like a whole new album to record, I'd imagine within like the next 5 months or so.
That's
maybe
dope.
Less. Yeah.
And I know that there was like a hiatus period where you guys weren't maybe jammed together, but you weren't actually like really practicing and stuff. How did that, when did the first iteration of Lost Cause stop? I know you guys, it went into Leveler at one point. That was your little segue band. And then you guys stopped for a long. How long did you guys stop for?
Yeah, I want to say it was maybe like anywhere from 10 to 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what happened was we had to change our name to Leveler for a while because there was copyright infringement. There's a band, really good punk band named Lost Cause. They didn't renew like their rights or whatever, and like, we didn't know when we came up with the name. And then somebody, I remember it's Terry McQuaid. He's like, there's a Lost Cause from SoCal. Check this out. We're like, oh, that's fucking rad. But they only played for like, I think like a year or two.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, in legal terms, all that boring stuff with the legalities of it, we had to change our name for a while. And then once the record label kind of dissipated, we went back to Lost Cause,
Right.
and then just Santa Cruz underneath it,
Yeah.
But yeah, we kind of phased out once the punk scene kind of turned to like bubblegum pop, we like to call it. It just started. The hardcore was like taken away from it. It wasn't the same anymore.
Right.
And the scene totally died away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
once that happened, we were just kind of like, let's hang it up. I think we just lost interest for a while.
Right.
Even though we play, like we always had a rule, if there's 10 people there, you play just as hard as if there's, 200.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but it got hard after a while and things just changed. So we kind of just did that. And then, had kids and, we all had kids, and except for Kalu, but maybe one day. No.
Yeah.
And, and then I remember we all just kind of, we'd always like reunite every once in a while, see each other in the water or whatever. We're always like been really, really close, all of us. But I remember I was watching all these old videos one day, and I kept throwing out, fillers like, hey, let's get this going again. It looked like the scene was like kind of reigniting, I want to say this was maybe like 9 years ago or so.
Okay.
And then Garen, it was kind of like if you build it, they will come. Garen had a 50th birthday, and he's like, I want you guys to play. And then, once I said, hey, we got this show, then all of a sudden it was like we all just came together, and it's like freaking riding a bike.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's
And
mental.
we're like, this is so much fun. And you forget, sometimes when you haven't played in so long, like what you're missing. It's kind of like with surfing, like, it's if you have an injury or something like that, or you're just too busy or whatever, sometimes you forget and you go out and have that one session and you just brings that stoke back immediately. That was kind of the same thing for Lost Cause.
Yeah, you fall back in love with it. And
Absolutely.
yeah, this is just something that I wanted to touch on. And in terms of like falling in and out of love of things, there's a lot of people, and myself included sometimes, where there's this nostalgia about, how Santa Cruz used to be, or the real Santa Cruz. Obviously it's changed a lot, but sometimes, and I won't name any names, but there's people who don't surf at all anymore, or or maybe they just don't play their music anymore because the scene isn't the same, or the thing has changed. But has that been something that has been difficult for you ever in the past? Like, I know we all grow up and have families and stuff like that, but it seems like surfing at some point, it became like, for many of us, it became something that was harder to do and to feel like we fell in love with. And I think that some of that is just us talking ourselves out of doing something that we really love or we're good at, because it might not feel just the same as it used to. And yeah, can you speak on that?
For sure. Yeah, that's a good question, man. For me, like there was times where I fell out of love for surfing because of just the overpopulation,
Right.
And just, yeah, things, used to be regulated in a way that it's like big leagues in baseball. There's these unwritten codes and laws.
Yeah.
And when they're, abided by, things kind of work in a way that's supposed to,
Yeah.
Not saying I condone, everything that I've seen or
Sure.
whatever,
Yeah.
it may have done. But, yeah, for me, what happened was I just, after doing a lot of meditation, working out and exercise and stuff, I got into a mental place where I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let that take away my favorite thing to do.
Right.
Surfing.
Yeah.
Music. I'm not going to let any of that, take the love away. I'm going to mentally just be in like a good place.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens, I'm not going to snap. I'm not going to, lose focus. I'm just going to kind of go out with tunnel vision sometimes,
Yeah.
And that's honestly what brought it back for me.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found that too.
Right.
Yeah. Like I've had injuries and chronic pain problems where like I stopped surfing because I can't do it at the level that I used to, or, I convinced myself that there was something that was missing from the experience. And yeah, with the crowds and stuff, that's changed things. It's frustrating, but like I think all it takes every once in a while is just to grab your fucking soft top, go out on like a little piss weekday at the point or wherever, and or go surf fucking Pangies or something. Like it's still there for us, and like the healing power, the beneficial power of being in the ocean is such a huge thing. And so yeah, it's up to us to find what we can out of the experience, even though it might not be quite as sick as it used to be. And just on that topic, like, dude, MC Nene, fucking legend, dude. What's that guy been up to? He had a hit song, like, was it 15 years ago or something?
I think so, yeah.
What was the name of that song again?
It's called I Surf, but I hate surfers.
Dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we kind of just got all new age talking about, it's not the same, but I'll still go and enjoy it. But, dude, MC Nene hit the nail on the head, because there was some, like, along with all the things that surfing's brought for this town and stuff like that, it also had a bad habit of inflating egos and creating some, it's not hard to not be able to make fun of the stuff that we saw.
Right.
And so, what do you think MC Nene, and just for the record, MC Nene, that's Shane's rapping alter ego, but what did MC Nene see at that time, that was kind of ruffling his feathers a little bit?
Oh, yeah. MC Nene at that time was disgusted by the surf scene.
Right.
Yeah, that's when I saw a lot of places get overexposed, and it happens with, like, the progression of, social media and everything like that. It's just my favorite spots, started just blowing up, and all these fucking egomaniac surfers that, were nothing but barkers out in the water and, thought they were the shit, really fucking got to me after a while.
I said, but I hate surfers. Sick and tired of these jabberjaw maggots. Every time I try to clear my head, I get ecstatic. It's like someone opened the floodgates. The circus is in town. It makes me irate. I wouldn't hesitate to travel out of town, but even up the coast, they're all around, talking about the Triple Crown. It's time to get down and learn some English, cause what they speak, it sounds Swahilish. Don't get me wrong, some of them could get along, but the ones that talk like this,
dude, it's firing. I'm fucking out there, dude. Yeah.
Dude, you should have seen me. I was ripping so hard. Everybody was looking. I was turning the head, dude, flying squirrels and all. That's it.
Yeah.
And so I decided to write that song, and it's like, it's tongue in cheek. It's supposed to be fun and funny.
Yeah.
And it's also not supposed to not be serious, but in all reality too, I was like, I loved having people thank me. They're like, fuck that, that took some balls to do that. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Anybody's got a problem with it, they could come talk to me, and right. I don't give a shit, because I know they're all fucking barking about, And so I felt like everybody wanted to do something like that, but it just, like, I don't know, it just hit me, and I'm like, fucking, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was great. The feedback, the reaction, even to this day, is, I would say, 98% positive.
Yeah.
People love it. They relate. I get people from all over the world, Hawaii, they're just like, oh, fuck yeah, like, that reminds me of here, there, fucking Indo, wherever, Australia. Yeah. And, but yeah, and then, like, the 2% that's butthurt, it's like, go reflect on yourself, because it is about you.
Yeah, guaranteed. Well, it takes some humility to be able to make fun of yourself. I mean, I don't know. I guess at some point, being a sponsored surfer, it gets to your head. You got free shit coming in the mail for you every other month. You got all the killer gear, and you just, it's hard not to kind of, get a sense of yourself as something greater than you might be in reality. But yeah, dude, that was fucking hilarious. And then also, we're gonna put a clip of the music video in there for the YouTube viewers, because nice. Dude, tell me about filming that too. You had a couple legends. You had Miller up in the mixture. Nick Hanna, the head, made an appearance. Like, how fun was that to film that?
It was a freaking blast. I mean, it's like as fun as it probably looks, And then and then Mikey Santella, doing the video and editing. He's a freaking genius. So yeah, when he approached me and said he wanted to do it, I was like, we all knew it was gonna be a blast. Half the time I think like all the drinking scenes or whatever, we were actually like pickled. So
Yeah.
it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then and that actually kind of, at that time I was taking a break from surfing too. So, I was all fucking hefty and like having to go. He's like, you got to like try and do like a 1-foot air. And I'm like, fuck, I don't even know if I could gyrate.
Yeah, bro.
Like, he's like, you could do it. Don't overthink it. So that was kind of fun. And actually did get me in surfing again. And like,
Yeah.
shape thereafter. But yeah, just going on location and like the reaction of people too, like when I'm pointing at the etiquette sign, the surfing etiquette or whatever. And there's one line, it's escaping me now in the music video. Some fucking like dork on a longboard was getting all butthurt, and he's all, what? Why would you say that? And then going in Billabong, we're like fucking in the clothes and the wetsuits and stuff. And they're just like, they loved it, But people were tripping. So that's kind of fun too.
Right.
But no, it was an absolute blast. We had so much fun. And there's a lot more songs on that album. I want to do music videos too, and we probably will someday.
Cool.
And I actually really want to do another album too. It'd be fun with MC Nene.
Definitely.
Got to have time,
Yeah. And who are some of the rap artists that inspire you?
Man. Yeah, I mean, you don't always hear it in like my music, but growing up, it was NWA for sure, Ice Cube, Ice-T, Eminem, all kinds of old school rap groups. That's the sound I like. You can hear it was all done in GarageBand. Like when I made that album, I was illiterate to computers. Like I didn't know how to use them. And I somehow like figured out how to do it enough to make, an album. And all the instrument tracks I used were not real, but they were of real instruments. And
Okay.
like that kind of, funky, almost like rap thing is what I was going for.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I used like the tracks that I did,
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I had good backing vocals from, of course, Jason Miller and then Kevin Rafferty too, especially on Boomtown. It was just amazing work.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And during that period, I mean, you mentioned, I'm gonna throw it out there. You mentioned that you're kind of out of shape. You had a love affair with Coors Light there for a while there, yeah?
Well, it's Budweiser. To be
Okay,
exact,
sorry.
But yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, and there's even like a sound effect, that anytime it was, Bud time,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, you and TK. How, I won't speak for you, but, some of these kind of things that can help us feel good and, it's like it makes maybe boring things or mundane things like easier to stomach, engaging in. But how's your relationship with like alcohol change?
Yeah, no, it's a great, real question, man. I respect that. So originally, what year was it? Maybe 2011 or 12. I quit for everything for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And like, lo and behold, it changed my life. I started my solar company, got into solar, and then later started my solar company, but changed careers, started surfing every day again. And just did like a lot of work on myself.
Yeah.
And just stayed like single for a year and just kind of found my way, figured out, kind of tried to fix everything that was wrong. Just with me and my personality and stuff, I just wanted to do the self-work. And then after 5 years, I kind of dabbled in it a little bit, and then, started off fun and everything. And then I had some challenges with it and put it down. And then it took like, I would say the better part of the last 13 years I've spent mostly sober.
Yeah.
But after like tons of therapy and everything, I finally like am at a place I feel like where I could just be a casual drinker.
Yeah.
But not encouraging everybody to try that.
Right.
Again, it was like all this work I had to do with my therapist before I was like, it started as a conversation like, you can finally do it. He calls it being a normie,
Sure.
Like, yeah, he's like, you could try being a normie, and here's like, give yourself some timelines and challenges. And so kind of figured it out. But what I've learned is that I just love waking up feeling ready to conquer every day.
Yeah.
Now. So it's such a small part in all of it, really, and it's awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good to hear, man. Yeah, it does.
I didn't think I could do it, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's a real testament to, discipline and control, to be able to use it appropriately in a setting that is, kind of conducive towards having a good time in a healthy way. But myself, like, I think, I don't know, like, I probably smoked weed the first time when I was like 11, and then from like 14 to 38, it was every day. And, having a real problem with my health, with chronic pain, it became like a crutch. Oh, I need this. Like, this is, it became like Golem, like, my precious. And like, I was just like, fuck, I couldn't do anything and like I couldn't like eat dinner without taking 5 bong hits. I couldn't, and after dinner, it's like, oh, I got to take 2 bong hits before I have dessert. Like, it's not going to taste as good. And then I found finally, I'm like, dude, like, it tastes the same. It's fine. Like, it's great. Like, I can sleep. Like, my pain's not worse. It's like, in fact, like, I think that as you get older too, with weed too, it becomes more of like a psychoactive kind of like, whoa, walls are melting type of like closing in on me type deal. So, and now I know about myself is like, I can't really do it, and, but I wish I had the wherewithal to be able to like do something like that, like casually, but even then, like, I don't know if it would be good for me, and that's something that we've in Santa Cruz a lot too. I mean, I can't even count on my fingers how many like friends I've had die from drugs, and it's like such a fucked up thing. And and like I just mentioned, I probably was going to Lost Cause shows at like age 13, drinking a couple 40s with Jimmy Herrick, and it's just like, what do you think it is about Santa Cruz? I know it's a problem everywhere, but do you think some of that like partying shit is tied up in some of that kind of punk rock ethos that we had around here, and like just the extreme nature of the waves we're surfing and the the skateboarders around us and stuff?
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. It's like, again, it's that fishbowl thing, and I think there's just this. It's punk rock to drink, and there's this level of like, I don't give a fuckedness, if you will. That goes along with it. There's definitely that stigma. And then also too, it's how many times have we seen guys go on goodies, they're surfing, right? They're on baddies, they're fucking just trolling the streets looking to fight, and they don't look well surfing, right? But then it's like those people that are, when they're on baddies, they want to grab more people to be on baddies with them. And so again, it's just like the nature of this small town that we live in. It wants to just suck people down sometimes. It wants to drain them, or bring them down to the level. And that's where, like you mentioned before, it takes a lot of self-discipline and like the want to be like, hey, I'm fucking cool. I love you, brother. Like, I see you're on a baddie. I'm here to talk. I wish you'd surf again, but I ain't fucking going down that road with you again.
Misery loves company.
Yeah, for sure. But it's sad. I feel for that every time I see, a fallen brother like that or whatever, here, or, who's passed on. It's always gut wrenching. It rips my heart out,
Totally.
in all fairness, or all reality, But, it's like it's a punk rock thing to be drunk and pissed off and fucking don't care,
Well, one thing that I wanted to bring up, and we're kind of oscillating between the good and the bad, but this is something that, if you look back on it, if you watch like a documentary on maybe one of these shows or something, like you might kind of be horrified. But one thing that was pretty punk rock, but in a different type of way, was Thunder Unicorn. And one of the things I remember about Thunder Unicorn was working at Crow's Nest and like waiting tables and stuff. And I don't know if this was something that every concert, but you had a penchant for vomiting on stage. Were those planned, or was that just? Tell people about Thunder Unicorn a little bit, and will there be a reunion?
Yes, there definitely will be.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I anticipate with the reunion of Astro Zombies that Thunder Unicorn will follow suit at some point. So but the lead singer, Jerusalem, would definitely have unplanned vomits.
Yes,
it was just he'd be highly intoxicated, and I mean, that was definitely not a stage thing, but yeah. Yes, Jerusalem is my alter ego.
The whole reason for this, the promotion of videos, is fucking try and make some money because we're fucking broke. Came over here from Great Britain to show American Yankees, wankers, what's up about rock and roll. Was we started our own music style called mullet rock and roll. Mullet rock is basically guitar heavy, mid-tempo, heavy-driven guitar rock and roll. Kind of comparable to AC/DC, some may say, but we take it with an edge. We got more high-pitched vocals. We got more of a meaning behind our lyrics. It is about, it ain't easy being a rock and roll star. It ain't easy living in a rock and roll fantasy, which we have come to find out. We started this whole band because we wanted more pussy in America. We wanted lots of money.
Yeah. How fun was that band?
Oh, it's so fucking fun.
And so, yeah, for the listeners and viewers, that was like an English 80s rock band.
Great
right?
Britain. Yeah,
Great Britain, yes,
yeah.
sir.
Yes, it's mullet rock and roll.
Yeah. So sick. And how do you sit down and like jam to create songs? Were you guys playing covers then, or were you guys doing original songs?
Those were all original. So that band started with real names: Kevin Rafferty, Jeremy Davis, and myself. And we were on a pole bridge in Rosarito, Mexico.
Yeah.
It was like 2 a.m. And we had our buddy who was like, he was just filming from the hotel room. He could see us down there. And so we just started like, they jammed these songs. They're just like improvising because Kevin and Jeremy are like master improvers. So they started like creating the sound. And then Jerusalem like kind of came to life then and started just singing, you know, the falsetto style fucking mullet rock and roll. It's its own genre.
Yeah.
And that's how that band came to life.
Sick.
And the video's killer. We got a couple visits at the hotel room later. They were trying to kick us out and stuff. But what we did was the rest of this was all on a surfing trip, you know, and so we would do it every year, go down to Mexico, surf our way down from Santa Cruz down there. While we were down there camping, we started writing more songs, and we're like, this could be a band. And then we just decided this should be Thunder Unicorn.
Yeah.
And then the whole drive home, we just kept writing songs all the way from Mexico all the way back to Santa Cruz. And then before we knew it, we had like 6 songs. And that was the birth of the band. And then later we got Jason Miller to play bass. And then later came Dave Rafferty.
Yeah.
And because Jason got too busy, but
yeah.
And then we grabbed Mike Santella on drums, aka Blanca, and he was just the perfect fit.
Yeah.
So it kind of started off acoustically, and then we built the band, you know. But yeah.
And how the hell did you guys get the Crow's Nest to not only let you play there once, but you returned, right?
Yeah. There was this one birthday party. It was Erica's birthday, and you know, a lot of employees were watching our shows there. A lot of the Crow's Nest employees, like yourself, and there was this one birthday, Erica's birthday. She asked me to jump out of this cardboard like birthday cake, and I remember Jerusalem had eaten like rice pilaf before and some like prawns or something.
Oh, God.
And so I jumped out of the birthday cake. And then just started fucking vomiting all over the floor. And then people were like literally dancing in it. So yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And somehow, to your point, we got invited to play back again.
Yeah.
And I think to answer your question directly is because the management was super cool then.
Yeah.
And I think Kevin had some high ranking there. That helped, so
definitely.
Yeah.
That was fucking amazing, dude. Such a fun time.
It was good times.
Totally. So speaking of Kevin, you know, Kevin, how old's Kevin?
How old is Kevin?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 2.5 years younger than me, so he's 47 and a half.
And then Dave is quite a bit younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 39.
Yes.
I believe.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's
so many
lose
siblings.
track sometimes.
Yeah.
And you know, do you have? I know Shauna's your sister. Do you have any other brothers and sisters?
No,
Okay.
no. I had a brother named Travis. He passed away when I was like 8 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Rest in peace, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, brotherhood, like, you know, you guys are super tight. What was it like growing up? You know, just being so tight with your brothers.
It was freaking blast. Very competitive for sure. Yeah, like I definitely have that competitive bone from my brothers. Like always, you know, we're always challenging each other to just pushing each other to do better and raise the bar. Like playing music, especially with Kevin and Dave, it's like you got to be on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're gonna let you know. And I
Right.
mean that in like the nicest way.
Totally.
You know, they're super cool about it. You know, we all are so close and get along so well. You know, so everything is delivered, you know, as you would speak to like your best friends, you know, which is such a blessing. But yeah, there's this standard, you know, like you got to be here. And if you're not, we're going to let you know.
Yeah.
Because for me, I've always just dabbled in and out of drums, you know, and so they have helped me a lot, you know, to develop. And that's why I wanted Dave my youngest brother, to produce the Wagon Wreckers album, because I knew he would challenge me. He would know where I should, you know, add fills and where I should leave them alone and things like that. But yeah, in a nutshell, I mean, yeah, with surfing too, you know, there's just we're always competing with each other and always growing with each other. And yeah, it's awesome.
Totally.
And that's why I'm like really excited for Astro Zombies again too, to play with both my brothers, because it's been years.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about Astro Zombies. It's a Misfits cover band, right?
Yeah, it's Misfits cover band, and our lead singer is Matt Warren, and he's just like sounds exactly like old school Glenn Danzig. I mean, he just
Sick.
nails it.
Yeah.
So it's really fun. You know, it's you know, all covers, but those songs are just incredibly fun to play. Sometimes simple, sometimes not. You know, but yeah, that band, you know, years ago we played. It's kind of like Lost Cause. We played, and then the scene died away, and we all, you know, started having kids and stuff, and then we were just like now finally bringing it back. The Chop Top started their reunion tour and asked us to play in December.
Okay.
And so we're like, that's kind of like that build it, you know, if you build it, they will come thing. They asked us to play that. I'm like, hey guys, we got invited to do this show with these guys, you know, like at Moe's Alley, let's do this. And everybody's like, yeah, we're in. So, yeah, so super excited for that.
Sick. And Misfits, the new Misfits, they might have a couple of songs that are okay, but they're mainly dog shit, right?
I don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay,
I am just anything post Danzig. I just don't listen to.
Totally.
Yeah, they should have called it something different.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, it's just one of those things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but what are you gonna do? You know, you can't. That's another thing, is capturing magic in a bottle and having that, being able to recreate it as a musician. You're jumping back into these, I would consider, magical groups, you know, like, is it hard to recreate that magic, or is there sometimes where it just comes right back?
No, I mean, it's honestly like every project band, you know, or any band that I reignite or we reignite together, the spark is like there immediately. It's crazy. It's seriously like, yeah, there's going to be rust and everything, but you just know that, especially I've been so lucky with the group of musicians I've always played with, that they're so talented and good, and they could just throw down with very little practice, that it just the magic comes back right away.
That's dope.
It's really awesome.
Yeah. Sick.
Super.
And so shifting gears a little bit, let's talk about, you know, grown-up Shane. You've raised a daughter, right?
Yeah.
How many children do you
I
have?
have 3.
3.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. My youngest is 12, Owen. He lives in Sacramento part-time, and then he's with me, like, and then Taylor, who's almost 18, June 1st, and then Darian, my daughter, just turned 27.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what has been, you know, how's being a father been for you? It's probably greatly fulfilling.
Oh yeah, no, it's amazing. I mean, it's like the most important thing in the world to me, you know. Yeah. And my kids are, you know, so much like me and so much like their moms, and you know, it's just really fun watching them grow. Yeah, with my youngest being 12, I'm finally done having kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, my girlfriend Justine doesn't want to have any more kids. She has a 28-year-old son who actually went to school with my daughter Darian.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, small town.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's been very fulfilling and rewarding, and of course challenging. Yeah, a lot of people I'm sure already know. I have 3 kids with 3 different moms. And life happens, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't go back and change it for the world just because they're so amazing.
Yeah.
And I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, revolved around drinking and things like that, as you alluded to before. But it doesn't change anything. And today things are freaking awesome.
That's great.
And yeah, I love seeing, Taylor's kind of following in my footsteps with videography, photography, surfing, and he's absolutely killing it. And yeah, and then Owen is like, he's 12 and he's like a super genius, and like freaking just comes up with ideas like on the fly so quick all the time, very creative. And then Darian's very artsy. She makes jewelry and things like that, and just like very like spiritually advanced. So they're all very similar to me and like their parents, but also very unique in the same,
Yeah.
So it's fun.
That's great. And talking about, your profession, solar, how'd you get involved in that, and what does it mean to you, that profession?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I got into solar right around the same time I stopped drinking. I was like doing construction forever. I was a general contractor, and I was just beating my body and everything. And I was like, man, I really want to change, but I was computer illiterate. I didn't know how to do much else really. And especially do something else where I can make the same, money I was making in construction, but I just went for it. So I kind of like got into sales a little bit, and like was like selling carpets for a while and like flooring, and that didn't pan out. And then, my buddy Jason Miller was encouraging me. He's been in sales in the surf industry forever. He's like, dude, you have the right personality. Like, you could do this. And, I said, I'm an anti-salesperson. He goes, that's it. He goes, that's what makes you different. He goes, you just be you.
Yeah.
And so I like started kind of reminiscing over the last construction jobs I had done previously, and they were all adding solar on it. And I was like, I want to get into that. I'm really interested. So I got into that 13 years ago, fell flat on my face, got ran out of houses for not typing too fast. Homeowners were like, I don't got time for this shit. That, I was like so frustrated. I remember one time I came out and beat the shit out of my fucking dashboard of my car.
Yeah.
And was like about ready to quit. And then I had a friend who's just like, listen to Deepak Chopra, 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, The Power of Now, and get into the right headspace. And I swear to God, it fucking worked. And stay sober. My friend was sober also at the time. And then I figured it out. I did like a couple ride-alongs, and within like a month and a half, I just started finding my way. But for like the most beneficial thing though is like I loved helping people and helping the environment for real.
Yeah.
I've seen like all the suffering of people that literally couldn't afford their electrical bills. And they were like struggling to pay it, and I had a better solution. I had an alternative for them. And so that for me just made me feel good. It was just all good energy, and then, I had worked for other companies for maybe 8 years, and then just started my own thing. Right when I started the Solar Surfer, the first time on 1.0 was right when COVID hit. It was going really well, and it kind of just took it down, took my business down. And then I worked for other people for a little while because they had more leads and stuff. And then I'm revamping it again. There's been a lot of radical changes in the industry, but it's stabilizing again. And so now things are like starting to take off again. So it's really fun.
Nice.
Yeah. And I have a great group of local installers I'm partnered with now and everything. So, yeah.
So what is like your average day as the solar surfer look like, as far as, the ebb and flow of tasks and like shit that you have to do to make a successful business?
Yeah. So that's a great question. So it all depends on lead flow, right? If you're getting leads from other sources or if you're just creating your own. And honestly, it changes, so it depends on the time of year sometimes, or just like I said, the industry changes, created a big dip. And so then it's more like, you're kind of posting on social media, you're running some ads, you're going through calling all your warm lists, we call them, you're calling friends and family, referrals, looking for referrals from other installs of clients that you had in the past. But typically when everything's like flowing in a good way, it's more like you wake up. I have a partner that is providing leads now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I look at my calendar, I'll usually be set like 8 p.m. the night before. And then I go, okay, I got, a 1:30 here in Gilroy, and I got like a 3 p.m. in Santa Cruz. And it's really nice because it gives you the flexibility in between,
Mm-hmm.
to kind of like go surf if I want or whatever, or go catch up on emails or do back end work after, I sell a job or whatever, and project manage it, see it to the finish line. So that's the exciting thing for me, is I like a lot of chaos, I guess, in a way. And so it's every day's different,
Right.
kind of, and I'm about to actually start doing the farmers markets here in Live Oak. And I'm going to set up, a tent there and a table and start kind of like trying to tap in locally here more, because
Okay.
I've had like the luck, if you will, or, of just having so many appointments given to me, whether they're online, on my computer, or just, pretty much away from town. But now I'm trying to, as I've gotten older and everything, I want to just focus more on the local community. So
That's
you're
right.
going to see me around town doing those things more. I'm actually going to put on a couple surf contests for Groms and stuff
No
too,
way.
in the near future.
Sick.
Yeah.
Legendary.
Yeah.
That's way rad.
Yeah, I'd love if you'd be a part of that too. You can do the commentary.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Anytime. I'm super psyched. Anything you got going, I'm down to support. And so, like, I think, I don't know, every fucking year they come out with a new car with new technology and stuff like that. Like, is that something that, like, obviously you're interested? It has to do with your well-being. What's the future look like for solar? Are they gonna make it more compact? Are they gonna be able to freaking draw more energy out of the sun? What do you think? I mean, I would only think that the sky's the limit, and it seems like the reason why it hasn't popped off harder is probably just because of the giant corporations and the fucking stranglehold on
Dirty oil.
exactly.
Yeah. No, that's a great question. I get that from homeowners a lot too. With the changes to what's called net energy metering 3.0, they changed it. And this was that dip in the industry I was talking about. So there was a huge spike before the dip because everybody was getting grandfathered into NEM 2.0, where you could sell back your energy credits to the grid, the utility company in our area, PG&E, right? And then they'd send them back one for one value. And then what happened was 3.0, they changed it to where you're buying at full cost and you're selling it back for 75 cents on a dollar less than what you were buying it for.
Okay.
So what that did was it made battery attachments. So having a battery with solar of the most importance now, because now you can store energy on your battery, draw it back to your house during nighttime, and then it puts you in a better position where you're not owing as much money to the utility company.
Okay.
So to your point, with technology, it made the battery technology way more advanced, which is great. It drove the cost of the batteries down significantly because there's such a need for them.
Okay.
That being said, solar panels also have increased in wattage. It used to be back when I started, you'd see 180, 200, 230 watt panels. Now it's not uncommon to see 450 watt panels, right? And which is great because you need less roof space. And then what I say to people when they're asking me, shouldn't I hold out for like the new technology?
Yeah.
My answer is always no, because as long as this technology that we're sizing for your specific needs is going to work, then it really doesn't matter so much.
Sure.
But if anything does need to get replaced, then it's going to get replaced with newer technology, right? So I'm not sure that's where you were going with that question, but I get it a lot, so I thought I'd address it.
No, I think that definitely helps to answer that question for sure. And is this something that you could see doing for the rest of your career?
I can. Yeah. I mean, there's times where I thought I was burned out on it, after doing it for so long. And then it became a little bit more remote than just doing in person. So I'm not driving as much. I could do kind of a blend now. And so I feel like recharged. And now just with everything stabilizing, kind of settling in with the new net energy metering 3.0, I could see myself doing this like until I retire, basically.
That's freaking sick.
Yeah.
Dude.
And I had like tried to get, jobs, in other places, just like, oh, maybe I need a solid salary or whatever. And it just like, it never worked out. I never got the job or whatever. Everybody would look at my solar resume or look me up on social media and they're like, you're going to go back to that. And they were right. So, in all fairness. So yeah, no, I'm just super passionate about it. And
That's dope, dude.
yeah, maybe one day my kids will want to get involved or whatever,
Yeah.
So you never know.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Sick. Well, I think, we're kind of running out of time here, but is there anything else you wanted to add, or, just did you want to plug your new album and where you can get every type of music that you put out there?
Absolutely. Yeah. The Wagon Wreckers album has dropped actually last night. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, all major streaming platforms. Same with Lost Cause's new album too. That's on there. And then one day we'll get Thunder Unicorn up there. That'd be pretty cool too.
Yeah.
And then the Astro Zombies, we're going to be playing late December with the Chop Tops, which is going to be huge. Once we get to a couple practices, we're going to book some other, kind of warm-up shows.
Cool.
So stay tuned for that. And then also I want to just give huge thanks to, my family, my friends, you, of course, Brandon at West Cali for printing our shirts, Over the Hill Gang, Surf Creeps, Dave Rafferty for doing an amazing job producing the album and helping us get all this stuff up live. Everybody in the bands, wives, girlfriends. My girlfriend Justine's been huge and always supportive. She's amazing. My kids, the list goes on and on. But yeah. I wanted to give huge shout out. I just love this community we live in, and this music scene is second to none in my opinion.
Yeah. Sick, dude. Hey, man. Well, thanks again, and it's always a pleasure to have legends in my life like you come on here, and we'll have to get you back on sometime soon, and we'll follow a couple other different roads and continue just to babble. That's what we do here.
Man. Let's do this.
All right.
It's been fun.
Yeah, brother. All right, you guys. Thanks again. This is Split Peak Soup Podcast. My name is Neil the Real Deal, a.k.a. Neil Dude. So, we'll check you out next time.